All right, we are going to go through a quick blog content strategy teardown of Shopify's e-commerce marketing blog. So I'm just going to run you through a bunch of things that I do and look at, and we're going to figure out what these guys, what their strategy is and what makes them so successful. So the first thing I'm looking at is I want to look at like posting frequency. So immediately I'm going to look for how often they are posting. A quick and easy way to do that is I find one of their dates and we figure out what it has. Then we can do a search and do 2014, and we can just look at September 16 and just kind of go through. And September 11, there's 5 days between that. 9 and 11 is 2 days. September 9th, 5th is 4 days. 3rd, 2 days. 2nd, 1 day. 29th, 2 days. 28th, 18th, 28th and 18th is 10 days. September 16th is 2 days. 11th is 5. So, I mean, it's kind of all over the place. It's usually around 2 to 5 days, but they are pretty inconsistent, so they don't care much about that. Now, immediately this pops up, so I am going to make sure I capture that. And while we're doing this, we'll just do a quick capture of what we're looking for on each one. So next thing we're going to look at is what their email opt-ins are. Like, what are they really trying to accomplish on this? And it looks like obviously we are got a pop up here. Want more traffic and sales. So to get the updates directly to the box, they also have a get free blog updates right here. Next thing, before even getting into the posts, I like to look at the sidebar and look at the different types of resources and stuff. So these are interesting because it shows what their biggest topics are, what they want to teach you about. And so we want to look at how they structure it and what the goal of these are, because they're not just giving away this content for nothing, right? So they could either be guides, or it looks like in this case, this is activated so going back, we know that this is activated when we hit the bottom of something. But it looks like, yeah, all they sell are these quote unquote resources are just their blog posts. So it's another way to say categories. Okay. So the next thing we're going to look at is check out these guides and tools. So the ultimate guide to drop shipping, 50 ways to make your first sale. What we want to see is, what do they require for this? Is it more just blog content, or is it like premium content where we have to have enter our email? So this is a PDF. We can see what's in the guide, and it lets you let's get started. Okay. So it actually just gives us the entire chapters for free, which is kind of cool. It definitely builds trust with the customer, educates them at the same time. This is stuff that'll help them use Shopify better, so that's great. Not huge high sharing. I would expect more, especially from, that's odd that it doesn't show the visits, but they have a page rank of 6, so I would think they would get more. And then 50 ways to make your first sale, looks like it is the same exact thing. Also, if you notice though, ready to put what you learned in action, try it for free. That's their call to action. It's odd that they do just have that on the first page. I guess they have it on the bottom of every page. Okay. So we've looked at those. We've looked at the sides. Let's get back to this front page. So we've got the guides and tools here. To find out more, goes straight to, if you see the bottom left-hand corner of my screen right here, it goes straight to the ecommerce.shopify, which means it is just the very front page. All right. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 posts per page. Just good to know. And then we are also, even before we jump in here, we can see, let's just look at how many times these get shared. The reason why we do this is we're going to do a more in-depth social media look, but I just like to get a quick view for what their most popular social networks are and what their weakest ones are. So we see automatically Facebook likes are definitely getting the most, which makes sense. It's a like, which is like the lowest, you don't have to retweet it or you don't have to do something else. Okay. That one, if we notice, it's a video, which we'll get into as well. That is where you also want to look at the different types of content as well. So the different types of media that they use. So they're having top 10 lists, they're having contests, they have videos, they have educational, they have guides, a really good roundup of stuff. And one of the things that made me that drew me to tear down this site was that when you search a term related to e-commerce, they are popping up on the front page. So they're optimizing the heck out of these and doing a really good job and using this as a great lead generation source. Because people enter in through a blog post, they get them with an email, and it's odd that they don't really, I'm sure they sell through an email, and what we'd want to do is actually subscribe to that email and document what their email sales process is. Okay, so we're checking out the different posts, and they do have several pictures throughout it, which is nice. They've got nice big headlines broken up, and the posts are actually really well written, have a lot of good content, have a lot of good internal linking. 3 comments, not much. That's okay. This is their newest post. We can check out some of the others and just kind of getting a feel, like I said, for some of these posts before we start checking out the stuff off the site. So I'll also want to check that out. We'll look at a list post. So how to prepare your online store for the holidays. I do like that they give a lot of graphics, and they're really good looking. Like, they look great. And geez, this is an extremely long post. Word count. Whoops. Like, this post just alone is 2,500 words. That's ridiculously big. So you see the other tons of pictures, good top 10 list, a couple more comments there. People usually, it's a lot easier to digest. Wow, this one, 31 comments. Okay, so now let's jump off and actually check out some stuff about them. And what I love to use is a tool called BuzzSumo, and it shows a ton of different information. So starting off, we can actually break down by entering in their URL into BuzzSumo, which does have a free version, which is what I'm using. And you can actually tell what the most popular content is on the blog, which is incredible, and exactly where it's being shared and how much. Like I said, this is a lot more in depth than just scanning over, you know, which one, what the different things are here. So we make sure to document that we are going to look at the comments. So now that we're on BuzzSumo, we are doing a look at what is their most popular content. Now in BuzzSumo, you can filter by all these different things. We can keep all those. This is just showing for the past year, so I like to look at it 4 different ranges and kind of see, okay, over the past year, what has been the biggest social media, like the most shared posts. And we can see this big giveaway has been one. Giveaway is the second biggest one over the last year. Twitter drove both of these, actually, and Facebook on this one. Social commerce, which social platforms drive the most sales. So one thing to look at when you are looking at a competitor is you want to look at who these posts are targeted at. So what I mean by that is, don't worry about the giveaways. You can just, you know, make it towards articles and infographics and stuff, or just uncheck giveaways. But what level is this targeted at? Now, it being Shopify, it should be targeted at mostly beginner, maybe some intermediate. But this is a very, you know, early stage content post. So when we look at the content, I like to break it down on the early, middle, and late stages. So you want to have content for every stage of the buying cycle, right? So what this one is social commerce, which social media platforms drive the most sales. Now, this is what we were talking about as well. This is something that if I was a beginner, I want to know, because I want to figure out where I need to spend my time marketing, right? So this is definitely at the beginner. Make your pins count. This is dealing with another social media, how to build a 120K, you know, e-commerce brand in less than a year. You know, that is whenever you throw money in it, it applies to absolutely everybody, but I would especially guess it would be the beginner as well. How to shoot that. A big company announcement. So what I like to do here is, first you just kind of start scanning them and then really see what content is working the best for them. Obviously, beginner how-tos, list posts, and guides are doing excellent for them. You know, 50 ways to make your first sale. And then what we want to look at is you can, if you want, we can make it to just the past 6 months. And we can start looking at now who is actually sharing the content. So what this does is, these are potential, if they aren't competitors to you, these might be people that are interested in your competing blog as well. So you can start following these people and see what else they share, and see, you know, are they people that might be interested in your e-commerce blog or whatever blog you have, you know. And what's really cool about this is it ranks them by whatever you want. This is Moz page authority, domain authority, number of Twitter followers, retweet ratio, reply, or average retweets. So we could say we want the person with the most followers. Or, so we can do that, and we can look at like the most influential, you know, or doesn't necessarily mean the most influential, but we can look at the people with the most followers. The things I think are really interesting are like reply ratio. So you can look at the person look for the people that are most likely to reply back to you if you chat with them or retweet you. And the retweeting one is really good because you can actually reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed that you like this kind of content, just created a post. write about that topic you were talking about, wanted to get your feedback on it, and most likely they will share it. So that's an excellent marketing tactic. Again, sort by retweet, find the people that are the most relevant, check out their profiles. So we're looking for people. This is a company, speaks a different language. So I would look for somebody who is in the United States, probably, just so I can make sure I'm on their same time zone. And I'm looking, so we could do this one. We can Kavita. So she has 500 followers. Maybe we want to go for somebody that has a few more. Maybe it's just about e-commerce tips, and so this girl that creates, Shopify sites. So we could see what other types of links she shared, and see if our piece of content, maybe it's about e-commerce trends, in 2014, and see if this was up her alley. So we can say, okay, yeah, that looks great. Then we can see a little more about her. We can follow her, and we can actually add her to a list, or shoot her a tweet. So that makes it really easy to do. The other thing that and the next thing we want to do is we want to keep on looking at just a few more things. So one thing I forgot to mention was what's their strategy with their pictures. So that this main picture is the thing that a lot of times really attracts people to click, and a lot of people like to have similar ones to keep them kind of branded the same. But these guys are really all over the place. So I mean, it's they've got this little like icon graphic here. They've got a picture of it's like a more of a graphic art. Then they've got an actual photograph here, which is a stock photo. Another like very stock photo, and then another like just graphic. Then they've got the pictures of people. You've got a picture of the YouTube thumbnail. More graphic art, more, so it's really just all over the place. So then a picture of actual data. So that's something to kind of tell, and it's not bad. It keeps people kind of guessing. So they're probably seeing what gets good click rates, Okay, let's jump off the site again and look at the two things. One, we're going to see about guest posts. So what I like to do is I just type in their name and type in like something like guest post or guest author or write for us, and I can see, bam, they have a guest blogging policy right there. Guest blogging for the Shopify blog. There you go. So they do accept guest posts. You can check out their guidelines, and you can see that is part of their strategy. They are looking for writers, and for the amount of content that they produce, it makes sense. They produce a ton of content. So let's look at what all that content is doing for them by doing a little more recon work on their site. So next place I go to is a free tool called SimilarWeb. I threw in the domain, the shopify.com/blog, but it mainly goes just for Shopify. So I am looking, it says they have an estimated of 12.7 million visits. People are on their site for 4 minutes. Now, like I said, this is for the entire thing. So it's not just for the blog, which we need to remember. A lot of it is from referrals. 30%, a third is from search traffic, but only 2.5% is from social, which is interesting. This is really cool because you can check out the referring sites. So we can see the top sites are PayPal, Tumbleweed Houses, and then just it looks like a bunch of their actual sites. Search traffic, 4.5% from paid, 95% organic, and then you can look at some of their top keywords, which are all branded. Some of their paid keywords. Facebook, like we saw it within the clicks, drove the most clicks. Then Reddit, interesting. Display advertising, we don't really care about that. This is kind of cool to see, you know, what categories the audience are most interested in, similar sites that they visit. It's not really actionable. You could check out some of these. It might be other places where you could guest post on, or other sites to kind of do a little looking into as well for competitive intelligence. Same with this. And you can check, they've got a thing for mobile apps. And so what we kind of found here was just that they get a ton of direct traffic. They've got direct traffic and referrals. Social media isn't very strong, and what we would look at next is they don't really have any places to actually visit their social media. It's probably down here. Yep. So we can actually check out and do a little looking into their brands. So we can see that they have 428,000 likes, which is pretty insane that they don't have more engagement on the blog. So something's happening on the blog. There has to be a reason, because if they have 132,000 or 130,000 followers, 129,000, and 500,000 almost likes, and they're only getting that many tweets and stuff, they're not doing a good job. There's something dropping the ball with their social media. So that might be a potential opportunity. One of the things that I would do, like if we were looking at Twitter, to figure that out quick, is I would find their Twitter account on a site called Twitterland, and do a little looking into, and we'll capture that, exactly what's going on with them. So we can see their top content, National Small Business Week. A lot of it has to do with pictures. Who they've talked with. So 2,500 people, that's not that much. So let's look at the analysis of it. While we're waiting for that, I don't think I took a screenshot of this for you. Or the guest blogging, we need to do that. This is taking forever. Okay. So this is nice that it gives you the breakdown of everything for them. 38,000 followers on Instagram. Did they have that at the bottom? I think they did at the bottom of their... No, they didn't. That's interesting. So if we look at their amplification, this is between average number of retweets from other people to this user's tweets per 100. So it's not bad, but like I said, for 128,000, it's really not that much. They're doing 6.5 tweets a day, so you can easily see frequency. 9.4 posts per week. That's a big one. I would think it would be a lot, especially with Facebook's change in the algorithm. It should be, especially when they're posting 20 photos a week on Instagram, they should use some of that on their Facebook page. And even Twitter, it doesn't seem like they're using social media hardly at all. So that's a definite weakness that they have. Quick thing on Twitter land that's kind of cool that you can check out is that you can look at and click on this demographics tab and check out of these how many. 56% are men, 44 women. As far as influence, they have 1% celebrities, 14% power users. Most everybody are casual, and then 15%, which is a pretty good chunk of novice. And then this is really nice too. We can see that most people are between 18 and 34, with 20%, which is still a fifth, between 35 and 50. So it does kind of baffle me why they don't use this more to, because their content is so good. So just a quick note on that. So one last tip for Facebook is you can use this app called Wildfire, and what that does is you can actually track your competitors. It's monitor.wildfireapp.com, and so what you can do is, I've already thrown it up. I put the URL of Shopify's Facebook page in there, and to save us the waiting time, we will just jump right onto the next page, and we can see, and we could throw in their Twitter handle as well, which we should do, because that would really help just see what we can learn from this as well. But it's, what I find here is it's a hockey stick, right? So just in, like, right at the end of the year, they said, you know what, we need to get serious about social media, and from then they've grown like crazy. So that is really what's going on, it looks like. And we can actually also track it by, well, this is by the leaderboards. We can look at likes, and I thought you could search by, well, Twitter's with followers. So Twitter looks like they had a little bit of growth in 2010, 2011. Twitter's been around, well, it still starts with that. And they went from, actually, yeah, right at the beginning of the year, they did grow quite a bit, but they've been growing, a little more consistently throughout it. So it seems like Twitter's almost, if they weren't doing much social media on either, Twitter wasn't doing, Twitter was mostly organic. So you could dig in a little more to see exactly what types of tweets they're using, what's getting, what tweets are most effective. That way you can learn just different ways to test promoting your blog. So just a quick update on that. All right, last thing we're going to look at is the SEO part. So what's actually going on behind the scenes here. So we are going to go back, or I'm jumping back into BuzzSumo just to check out the most popular posts, and then I'm using a tool called Moza. If you're in SEO at all, they used to be called SEO Moz, now they're just Moz, and this tool is right here on my Google Chrome. It's called Mozbar. It's free. Everything I'm showing you, you can get for free. They have a ton of features in the free version, not all of them, but all that we need for now. So give you that, make sure that you can download it. And then, so we're going to look at a couple of these posts and just show you how to do a quick look on what keywords they're ranking for and how they're doing it, what's making them rank, because that's really what I'm seeing is the biggest strategy that they're trying to do, is just a ton of Google organic traffic for the most popular phrases that people are looking for related to e-commerce, especially beginners. If we are looking, I'm going to do a couple different ones. So Moz gives us this search bar right up here. It shows the social, but it also shows like page authority and domain authority. And I'm going to give you a better, here's one that we found on here. It's the Pinterest post, 7 ways to drive sales and traffic with Pinterest. And this one, so they have a domain authority. That's their main rank, overall. But what we really want to look at is the page authority as well. So the page authority is 59, which is on a scale from 1 to 100 is awesome. And Moz rank is 5.62 out of 10, which is excellent. It even gives us a list of links. So there's 154 links going back to this post. We can see that this had 1,700 likes, 171 tweets. And it's a pretty monstrous post as well. Okay. So the really cool thing about this is, one, we can actually click this little button and start breaking down the on-page elements. So we can start looking at, and all we're really trying to do is read through and look at the different phrases that keep popping up, because we know that they know what people are searching for, and that's what they're going to try to optimize for. Now, something else you want to keep in mind is when you're doing this, make sure not to do a guest post. So this is by Dane Winter. Some of the other ones, you can see right here is a guest post. So do a quick search and make sure that it's not a guest post, because this is a staff writer, Dana Winter is, and so she's going to be more interested in the SEO component. All right, so we can see that we click this button, we can see how they structure their URL. You can see it up here too. Make your pins count, 7 ways to drive traffic and sales with Pinterest. They just take for the meta description, they just take the first couple sentences. The e-commerce, the H1, you can see that e-commerce marketing blog, driving traffic. They put all their H2s as their main points. They actually aren't really trying too hard with the SEO. They're really not trying to focus on it. The attributes, you can check out the page load time, the link metrics. Like we said, there's 154, and that means total links. Okay, so that means links inside and outside, which I'm going to show you. They don't even have Google authorship. So that is a quick way where you can check that out. This is cool where you can click on that button and look at what links are followed and not followed. So something kind of cool here is if we wanted to see if I wanted to guest post for this site and they actually give me a good link back to their site, I could turn this on and see, is this link followed or not? And yes, you can see I put on followed, it's green, so it is. And it looks like they don't really, like only a couple things are not followed. So just a good thing to notice. So, as well as you can do a quick scan of internal links, how often they link, to other posts in their site, which is always a good strategy. Now what we can do is actually click on the number of links here that they have. So we said that they had 154, and links back to their site. Where did that go? We'll refresh it. I have it right. I opened it up so we can figure it out. Okay, so you can see, there we go. link metrics, you can see, oh, it doesn't, for some reason it's not showing it. Oh, that's because it's this one, I'm sorry. Okay, so get rid of the linking. We see it has 154 links. I can actually click on that and it opens up Moza's tool here. So what this does, don't worry, it doesn't get too, won't make it too complicated here if you aren't into SEO much, but we are just looking at, we want to first sort by all links from, and then we hit only external. So that means that these are only links out of the 154. Let's figure out how many come to this page that are from other websites. Okay, so we want to figure out where they're getting their other web, what other websites are linking to this blog post. What is making it so popular? So we can see that there's only, out of those 154, there's only 14 external links. I thought there would be a lot more. So, and then, so we look at it like Scoop It, which is just a, these are all no follows as well. Geez. Promoto, some e-commerce site, and man, out of that we can even look at show, only follow links, and we can look and it's only 4 with this page authority and this domain authority. So I mean, that domain authority is great, these won't do much for you. So they're like not trying at all to really get anything, from here. So you can see that most of them are all internal links in here. So yeah, these are all the ones on the actual page. So you can just do a quick breakdown and see, okay, now that we know, if we went back to here and we figured out, okay, I want to get, featured on one of these blogs. Like first of all, the link anchor was, here's Shopify. This is a good text, for the anchor text. This, they used an image. This was the text, but you could actually go to that link URL and, figure out what made them link to it and see if you could get a link from them that way. And I think I have gone on long enough. I think that is it for now. I'm sure I know there's several other things, but this is a good overview of just digging into a site's strategy, the blog's, a website or a company's or a e-commerce site's blogging strategy and social media strategy. Thanks a lot.